de molde y nosotras somos de corazón. Si piensan que son los del sexo superior, pero cuando lo queremos los vence nuestra seducción. Seducción. Si yo fuera un chico, sé que podría.
Hi everyone, I'm Elsa and
Maggie Guzman,
mejor conocidas como las
Mil
Amores. And welcome back to our channel.
Hi everybody, how's everybody doing? Today we're going to talk about the pursuit of happiness.
We're going to talk a little bit about ourselves and how we got to that point.
Okay.
So, I used to be a very innocent, nice little girl when I was very tiny. Of course, when I started off in this world, I used to be like super innocent. I used to be like those type of little girls that used to like rescue cats. I remember que como con todos mis allowances y vendiendo botes y todo lo que yo podía, yo juntaba dinero like so I could like buy them cat food, because I felt really bad like for todos los gatitos así que were strays. I was like really a nice little girl. I remember that I used to be the type of little girl that would always like have a gift for my parents or like for family members for like their birthdays and stuff like that. I used to always be like, oh, I want to be a singer, I want to be an actor. I had like all these dreams que yo tenía cuando estaba chiquita. So I always had like the mentality of being a good girl. Yo me acuerdo que I used to enjoy going to church. When I was little, a veces yo decía que I wanted to be a nun. De tanto que I was so apegada a Dios. I remember que I had like all these really like innocent dreams. Like, I don't know if you remember the way I used to be.
I remember that you were kind of like always like, from what I remember, you were always like singing, dancing. You always kind of had hopes and dreams to like get married. You would collect all the bridal magazines. You used to do like music videos. I remember she used to like adopt all these stray cats because we used to live in a place where like there was a heater in the back. And there was a mom cat there, and she would always have babies. And I remember she would like get all the cats. Although my dad used to like either throw them away, not throw them away as in like leave them somewhere, or like, you know, drop them off in the shelter.
I remember que as time went on, like a lot of horrible things started happening to me. I was really little when I got molested for the first time by a neighbor, and I was really sad because I thought he was my friend. I remember that I felt really alone in that time, but I was like, who cares? You know, I remember I was like 3 or 4. I think I was like 3 because I don't think I had started school yet. And I was like, ay, ¿qué importa? Things happen. I just wanna, you know, I'm just gonna forget about this. It's gonna pass. I'm gonna go to school soon. So I remember that in that time, like a lot of my family members used to bully me, like my tias, my tios, a lot of my cousins were like really horrible towards me. So right there, I remember that my mom, she wanted me to go to school already because like I was her firstborn, ya le andaba como para llevarme a la escuela. So me apuntó in school un año antes that I was supposed to go into school. So usually when you go into kindergarten, you usually like you start probably like at 4 and you're 5, right? Well, I was like about like 3 going into 4. And she me apuntó in kindergarten. Guess what? Oh, I thought it was going to be so fun. And right away when I got to school, kids started being really mean to me. They started picking on me. But I was like, I had this attitude like, who cares? You know, yo le voy a pedir mucho a Diosito. Yo le voy a decir que cambien las cosas. It just got worse with time. I remember that we moved because my uncle bought some houses and we went to go rent behind their house. And I remember que things started getting worse. My family members were horrible towards me. I had like no friends whatsoever, not in school,
Not at the house.
not at the house. She was like, she was still a baby. So like the minimal time that she could play with me, cool. But you know, babies, they need like a lot of attention, different type of attention. It got worse. I got molested for the second time by a family member, and it was horrible because I in that time I wanted to be a model, and I remember that this family member used to use the excuse like let me teach you how to model, like let me teach you how to dress, how to be because you want to be a model, right? And I remember she used to use that excuse so that she could molest me, and it was really really hard for me because I had no one. I was really alone. It was really hard for me. Our family is not the type of people that like hug and like, you know, you're there for each other. So, like I said, my family is not the type of people that like hug each other or like say like, oh, like, are you okay? Is everything okay? Like they're just not like that. So with right there, I kept going to school. The bullying got worse. I remember I used to tell my mom, sácame de la escuela. I was just in elementary. I would beg her because they were horrible towards me, the kids. Like, I couldn't escape. I couldn't run. Teachers, like, they didn't, like, care. They would see, but they were, like, you know, just, I'm sure all they care about is their paycheck. I remember that I used to go to the local library because I used to like to read. Everybody in the library was horrible towards me. I was like, well, what's wrong with me? Like,
I remember that at that time she used to always like to go to the library, and I was like, why does she gotta like to go to the library? Like, can we like play Barbies or like do other things? And she was like obsessed with like going to the library.
I was really, really alone, like horribly alone. My only friend were my cats. My sister was growing up, so she would play with me sometimes. But, you know, again, you know, she's younger. You know, it's not the same thing. My cousin, he was a guy cousin. He was my friend, but he's a guy, you know, he was obsessed with baseball. I didn't like baseball.
He's still obsessed
with baseball. You know, he was like my friend minimally. So it was hard. I remember that I really wanted to be a fashion model. I was like obsessed. I started being anorexic in that time, and like I wouldn't eat. Everyone was like all happy eating. I remember that I wouldn't eat nothing. I wouldn't eat nothing, like nothing. I remember that I used to eat like little bits amounts of food because I really wanted to be a model.
And I remember I was like, aren't you hungry? Like, better for me, I would eat like all her leftovers and everything.
I was like, one day my prince will come. That's what's gonna save me. One day my prince will come. So like one day my prince will come. I kept going to church and being like super religious and thinking I'm still gonna be good by God. Things just happen. Maybe I'm just having bad luck right now. I'm gonna keep the faith alive. I know something good's gonna happen. One day I know that I'm gonna get married, and I guess I'm gonna try to forget about the modeling. I know it's not gonna happen. Elementary got worse, but I was gonna go into middle school. Okay, so like I started going into middle school. And middle school was worse. It was like horrible. It was horrible. It was worse than elementary. Okay, like everybody would like pick on me. I remember that all the grades would like dog me. Oh my goodness, it was like a non-stop thing. The family parties at my house got worse because the family members, it got more intense and more bad because I started growing up.
She was saying like, I don't know, I remember that like desde que nació, like there era chola. Like I remember that I had an uncle that would say that like she was from the local gang, and we were like in elementary, and I was like, I didn't know, but I was like, she hangs out with because she always hung out with my friends because like she didn't have friends. And you know, I was like in 3rd grade, and they were already saying that we were like from a gang, and I was like, I didn't know like react in that time. I was like, yeah, this is me like a chola, but like now it's like, huh?
Well, yeah, it was horrible. Se unía with this other aunt of mine that was horrible, parecía como like Camelia la Tejana, because she was horrible.
And she kept going. Years later, like when that subject comes up, I'll let you guys know what she said.
So I was like, no more of these parties. I made a friend and she started being my best friend. She lived in the front. She was a very abusive friend. I remember that I used to take her shit because instead of being in my house with all the abusive family members, I'd rather be with her. But she was like the type of friend that you're like going, what, does she want to be my friend or not? I remember that we used to go like bike rides, escondida de mí, and like the next day me hablaba and she would tell me, well, where are you at?
And she was younger than you.
She was younger than me, but I was like,
She was
cares?
when you're younger, and she was like the rich girl of like the block where we used to live.
And my mom was like really strict with me, pero con ella sí me dejaba ir, so I was like, I'll just go with her, who cares? I remember that in that time, all of the people around us started being like promiscuous, and I would say to myself in that time, no. Like, yo tengo que ser buena, I have to be like good by God, no puedo estar haciendo cosas malas, because like, I know God has me. I know que I have to keep being good because God tiene algo special for me. So, I remember that like, todo se me hacía mal. I was like those type of girls que like, I didn't want to like kiss a boy without being with him, or like, me daba miedo like to like even think of like having sex because pensaba que me iba al infierno, like me va a salir el chango, so like, oh no. Every night, yo me acuerdo que yo rezaba. I would tell my friends, do you pray? She would laugh at me. She was like, weird. I remember que tenía un perro in that time. I was really close to a dog. My dad gave him to me for my 6th grade graduation. And when my dad bought some houses I was like really lonely, a lonely little girl. I remember that I used to go to that dog. He was like a mixed German Shepherd. And I remember that I used to go to him and I used to cry and I used to say like, don't worry, God has us. He has something good for us. I know he does. I kept going to church. I remember I started growing up a little. And that friend of mine, we used to ditch sometimes. And I remember que yo pasaba por la iglesia y decía, God, this is the only last time I'm going to ditch. I promise you. Like, me ponía como a... I was so religious because I knew that God had something good for me. I was like, who cares if all these bad things are happening? But I know something good's going to happen. Everyone was getting boyfriends in that time. And I remember that like all the boys that I would encounter, they were like horrible. And I was like, pero how? If I don't have sex with them. I don't go to first, second, or third base with them. Like, what's going on? ¿Por qué será que yo tengo tan mala suerte for the boys, but yet my friends, todas the ones that are, you know, like being promiscuous are not? I remember that I started thinking, but I started saying, no, I have to keep being good. I have to be being a good girl. I have to keep being a good girl because I know God has something good for me. So as time started going on, we started growing up a little. And I immediately fell in love with this boy. I seen him. We all fell in love with him.
You were 15, he was like 18, 19, and he was like all cool and like the it guy. And I remember he was from a gang. And I know it's not like nothing like as an adult you grow up and you're like, that's not cool. But at that time for us, it was like, he was like down, like, you know, like down for his shit at that time. And we were like, oh my goodness, my sister got like this cholo.
So I remember that I started junior high, middle school was gone. I went into high school and I was excited because I had tried out for cheer. I was like, it's gonna change. High school's gonna be different. No more bullying. Oh no, it got worse. The cheer coach was horrible towards me. Immediately she told me that if I was anorexic. I dropped out. I went into PE, and in PE I started getting bullied horribly.
And so you guys could hear our bully story. Just go down.
I left the school, so I had to be like roaming around in schools. I went to like Southgate High School, and it was like super far for me. After that, I went to like Sure, and I just kept going to like a bunch of schools. Every school that I would go to, except for Sure, I would get bullied. And it was like, oh my goodness. The only thing I would look forward for was this guy that I thought was so hot, and we all did too. My best friend in that time, he hooked me up with them. He would always like give me hints like, well, he's a player. He's cheating on you. I'm going to try to convince him not to, but he's a player. I remember that I would tell him, oh, do you think I had to have sex with him? Because probably like that he won't cheat on me. My friend would tell me. So I remember that I used to tell my best friend, do you think I have to have sex with him? Like, what do you think? Like, why do you think he cheats on me? And he was like,
just a player, girl.
I remember that he would take me to like McDonald's to buy sundaes, and I remember I used to cry while I was eating the sundae, telling him, why me? Why me? Why? He would not say nothing. He was like, with time, I remember that I started questioning God, and I started telling him, what's up? Like, why is it that I do everything right, but yet everything wrong happens to me? Why? Why is it that I try to do everything right? I have all these good sentimientos, but a lot of bad things happen to me.
Because, you have the mentality of, like, you're good, you're going to have a nice life, you're bad, you're going to have a bad life.
I'm like, I'm not going to be a singer
because we're Catholic, so.
I'm not going to be a singer no more. I'm not going to be a model no more. I'm not going to be nothing, and not even this guy likes me. After time of putting in work and persistence, the guy finally came around.
After like 3 years? No, 2 years. 2 years.
He started being really nice to me. He gave me a promise ring, but guess what? My feelings had kind of died out for him because of I started being real bitter. I started getting like all these bitter thoughts, and I started like being really horrible, and I wanted to get revenge from him and everybody around me. I remember I was real horrible towards. I remember that I used to bully them, and I used to be like bitter and always in a bad mood because I was just horrible on the inside. I started saying like, well, I mean, why me? But then again, I was like, no, tengo que seguir siendo buena. I can't, I still have to be good. I started hating that guy. I did like a horrible revenge on him. That best friend, the one that was there for me, I got with him. And I was cheating on him. I felt really guilty.
He was horrible, guys.
But
he was
I got with this guy. I got with my
guy.
best friend, and guess what? He was really abusive towards me. Verbally, mentally, physically, horribly abusive towards me. I did not think this or expect this from him because we were really close. We were like best friends since we were like really little. Him, me, and my sister, his other friend would always do things when we were little. We were really close. He was horribly abusive towards me. I had to wear like clothes that would cover all my skin. I couldn't wear nail polish. His rules were that I couldn't dye my hair.
Out. He would take. I remember that he used to get her ID because she was 18. Not during, but like kind of like during the relationship, and he used to take away her ID because he was like, you're not going to be going to no 18 and over nightclubs. And we were like, what? Because we were into like local house parties, and we were like, who's thinking of going to like any nightclub? Like, what is he talking about?
He started like calling me all the names in the book. He would get my arms, and he used to like push me, shove me. Like the punching started all over my body. It just got horrible and abusive.
Her prom picture, we'll upload it. It's there. We won't show his face because we don't know anyone's current situation, but the photographer had to like actually put his hands like to cover the bruises that she had.
It was horrible, you guys. It was something that I would not want no one to go through. I remember that there I was horribly bitter. I hated my life. I used to think of like suicide every single day. I was like so sad, and I used to blame God. I used to say, oh, I hate you. Why did you make my life like this? I was always good to you. I was always like good. I was never a bad girl. How could you have done this to me? I used to blame God every single day, and I used to hate him for everything that I was going through. How could you do this to me? How? Why? What did I ever do to you? Why? I mean, I was always good. Why is my life like this? I used to like bash God every day. I stopped going to church. I stopped praying in the night. It was something that I felt.
She was like a totally different like sister she was horrible, guys, like horrible towards me. And I remember that I resented her like for a long time, and I was like, how could she be doing this to me? Like, what have I ever done to her? Like, but you don't understand. Instead of like holding stuff against her, I should have probably gone to go tell her like,
well, because I guess since like all the bullying in the family, she was horrible towards me.
So you just learn from what other people do, you know, and you kind of like, we don't kind of like understand one another, and it's like, oh, all right, like maybe like, why are you like that towards me, or are you all right, or can I help you out in anything?
So it came to the point where I would never do drugs, and with him one day he told me, let's eat some wheat brownies, let's just eat them. And yo como una tonta, I ate the wheat brownies, and I remember that I went to the emergency room. When I got to the emergency room, I remember that when I woke up, I said to myself, what am I doing? What am I doing in my life? Why? Why do I have to be in this situation? It's not my fault why I'm like this. It's not in God's hands why people are cruel and mean towards others. So I woke up and I said, I have to do something. I have to give myself another chance. I have to give life another chance. I just can't go out like this. When I got out of the hospital, I remember that I was really embarrassed to go home, but I still went, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I have to do something. I know I'm all alone on this, but I have to do something. I have to escape from this guy. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna like blow him up, do something like run, poisonous food. That's how bad I felt towards this guy, because he was horrible. It was like the last straw with him. I hated him so much. I did an escape route, and I remember that I just said to myself, I have to give my life a chance, but first I have to go and I have to beg God for forgiveness. I went to church and I told God, I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry for hating you and doubting you, and I want you to forgive me. I remember that I kept going back to church every single day, and I didn't feel that he was responding. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep begging God, but while I do this, I'm gonna get rid of this fucking fool. So I did everything I could to escape that dude. He would stalk me, but I didn't care. I got a job that was super far. I did not care what happened to him. He was a gang member, and I was like, I don't know if I should even be friends with the local, with his rival gang members, but I have to get rid of this guy because I hated him that much because he was making me miserable. No, what worked was just leaving, going to another city and getting a job, avoiding his calls, changing my phone number, and I started being good with God. I got this job that was really far. I remember that I started taking walks, and I started appreciating. So I remember that I started taking long walks, and I used to look around, and I started appreciating like the trees. I remember that I started appreciating
Her
like,
look, guys, started changing like drastically. I remember.
So my pursuit of happiness happened when I realized that I loved myself, and I realized that I wanted to live, and I wanted to live, and I wanted to breathe, and I wanted to continue being that one girl that I once was, that kind, generous, nice girl that I once felt that I was. I began to love myself. I let go of all the horrible things around me. I stopped caring that those things mattered. All
Our
the
environment,
bad
guys, was like real different. It was like filled with like happiness and like people that were really, really like loving, caring, positive.
I got really close to my sister, and I realized that all I needed was her. Whether other people, if they wanted to be in my life, fine. If they didn't, who cares? But I wanted to persist in having a relationship with my sister, and that's what I did. I was really happy. I just started loving myself and life, and the thing that set me free was forgiving myself and going to beg God for forgiveness. God was never mad at me. I know he wasn't. I think that he always was there for me. It's just that I had lost touch with him. I got faith in him again, and I just threw and barrí all those horrible people away from me, and I started appreciating myself again. I started living life. I started pursuing happiness that way, and today I'm like super happy.
Alright guys, so here we go with my part of the pursuit of happiness. So ever since I was really little, I was known to be really happy, a really like outgoing person.
She was very, 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 very cómica. I remember that when we were little, me puso un bowl de frijoles en la cabeza. Like, at the moment I started to cry, but then when I went into the room, I started to laugh. That's how funny she was.
So I was really happy, really like outgoing. I used to do a lot of pranks on like my aunts, my uncles. I remember that like I used to like torture my little cousin, my sister, my older cousin, and he was older than me. I, guys, was like a prankster. I was like, we had a cousin and she like only liked me. She was like the older cousin.
Still does.
And she was like, all right, I'm going to bring one Margarita along. So I was really liked by my mom, my dad. I was really happy at school, guys. In elementary, I had all these friends.
She had the cutest boyfriend in elementary to be with her.
Hi, Alejandro Cano. I still have you on Instagram. He's not married. So I remember that like, all I knew was happiness. Friends, happiness, fun, family. I was, according to my mentality, I was liked. I was the best.
She was really pretty. Like, she was really, really pretty. For real, she was. She had like no acne. Her face was really pretty. She was born like with light brown hair.
The boys in elementary, I used to drive them like crazy. I used to have like people that were like, no, you have to be with me. You have to choose to be with me by lunchtime.
She was blessed.
Friends used to like fight over me. I used to have like girls that were like, no, you're my best friend. No. So that's like all I knew. Everything, guys, was also easily given to me. I remember that like I had a really close relationship with my dad. I was like daddy's little girl version of a boy because I used to
be my dad.
I used to play like handball, dodgeball. I used to play like baseball with my older cousin. I used to hit home runs. And
that would pressure me to play
I
baseball.
was like, wow, guys. I had a best friend. I had two best friends. One girl used to live next door to my house. She was really smart, guys. She used to do my work throughout elementary. I had another best friend. She was really like a dancing kind of girl. She was a cheerleader at Salazar Park. This girl used to like teach me everything, guys, from learning how to fist fight, although I didn't get no techniques. I would always get my butt kicked. And she used to teach me how to do like cartwheel splits. She's the one that got me into like drill team and cheerleading in elementary, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like, so I started realizing that me being happy, all these girls wanted to like be around me. It was something positive for me. My sister had an older best friend, like how she explained, but for some reason this girl liked me. And I was like, so all these older kids in elementary knew who I was, guys, and I'll show you pictures, guys. I was like chubby. I used to wear like these big bows. They still accepted me. So going into middle school, I remember my sister was like, you have to stand out. You have to be the most popularest girl. Because I used to go through like my sister Stevenson middle school yearbook, and I was like, I'm going to be like that girl, and I'm going to look like that. I'm going to color. I was obsessed with the girl that won for most attractive for my sister's year in her grade. I wanted to be just like her, and I was like, I'm going to be most attractive for my 8th grade year.
Since I got bullied, I know the tricks so that she won't get bullied at school. So I was like, you have to be this way in order for you to have friends and be happy.
So I go into middle school. The first day comes around. My sister puts all this makeup on me. That was like my signature. Makeup, my hair like curly, like the Aquanet, like, you know, you crunch your hair, and it was really long, so I stood out. I was a 6th grader, and I looked like an 8th grader. Immediately, this boy that was an 8th grader liked me. So a lot of kids, it was some guy that she would say was her son. So all these 8th graders, so they started asking me like, what's your name? And I had a boyfriend. He was a 7th grader. I was a 6th grader. And I was like those faithful girls, like, oh, I have a boyfriend.
Him. He was nice.
He wasn't, he cheated on me. I have a boyfriend. So the more I would say I had a boyfriend, the more the 8th grade boys wanted to be with me. They were like, wow, this girl is like, wow. You know, this girl is like, wow, you know, she claims her boyfriend. And so I stayed with my boyfriend. He cheated on me. Immediately, I broke up with him. I was like, I am not about to be going through like cheating or nothing.
In that time, I was like, my sister's a boss. They cheat on her and she just breaks up with him.
I broke up with him. He cried. I was the first boy that ever cried for me. So I immediately felt like if I was like blessed. I felt like if I was like this queen, guys. So we go into 7th grade. I was like, I am going to hang around with those girls. I started hanging around with these 8th grade girls. This guy that was also an 8th grader wanted to hook up with me. So he got with me. And it was me and some other girl. She also had an older sister, like, you know, the age of my sister. So we were kind of like, it was me and her, all these 8th graders. And, you know, it was me, Skinny Maggie, with all this makeup. Everyone in my grade kind of thought I was kind of conceited because I was always like aiming higher. Like, I want to hang out with like the older kids. So around that time, this girl that was known to be like a gang member, she wanted to get into a fight with me. I was scared, guys. I remember that I came home and I was like, oh my God, I saw this girl to get into a fight with me. She's supposedly from a gang in Boyle Heights. I was scared. I got in a fight with her in the lavanderia by Salazar Park. She beat me up, guys. This girl was like beating me up, throwing me against the fence. She ended up taking like this older man that was from that gang. He was on crutches and I was scared. But guys, I had guys like the support of like 8th and 7th graders, guys.
And in that time,
my sister's crowd.
And in that time, she started looking up to that guy. Remember the one that I said that like he would always cheat on me? She started like being like him.
Like him, guys. Talking like him. I remember I would say like, hey there, hi there, ho there. And like, what's up? And like, I would say like these words. Like I was like this big wannabe chola. I'll upload pictures. I was nothing close to like a chola, guys. In reality, I wasn't. That's just like the image that I was giving at school. I had a best friend in Belvedere. This girl was like, oh, hell no, I wasn't gonna be messing with her. Guys, I had like this like love from all these people.
She was really happy in that time.
I was really happy. I ended up getting kicked out, which I fought back. I remember me and my mom, I was like, hell no, I'm not gonna get kicked out. Like, why am I gonna get kicked out? I'm not the one that, I got into a fight because she's the one that came up to me. I didn't even know who this girl was. I was a 13-year-old girl, guys, fighting for my rights. I remember I went to go tell, like, the administration at Stevenson Middle School, like, you guys are not gonna kick me out. I'm not gonna leave this school. If you guys kick me out, I am not gonna go to school. Me and my mom kept going back. I had my mom's support. They were like, all right, you're a bad influence for the school. We're just gonna kick you out for 8 weeks and then you'll come back. And I was like, no, 6. And they're like, 8, 6, 8, 6. And I won. I got 6 weeks. And I remember I said, I have to be back because I have to start socializing because I have to win for most attractive for my 8th grade year. And I really want to hang out because Stevenson Middle School has like the covered cafeteria area. And I wanted to sit like in those benches. I was like, those benches have. So I get kicked out and my mom's really supportive. And I remember that I got kicked out to a school called City of Angels. It was in Highland Park. It was an independent study because I had gotten kicked out to Belvedere Middle School, but I was like, no, because I'm going to have, I knew how distracting, you know, I was going to be social right away and not concentrate. And I wanted to go back to my, you know, to Stevenson. And I remember that my mom was really supportive. And I remember my mom used to take her days off to go on the bus with me to all the way from East LA to Highland Park.
She was still happy.
I was really happy. My mom was really supportive. Everything was great in the house, at school. I had a best friend. Like, since I was in home studies, I had a best friend that would go to Belvedere. Me and her were really close. We're building a really good relationship. And on my way home from independent studies, I encountered myself again with some girl that had also gotten kicked out, which me and this girl became really, really close. This girl, hated me, and then like yo me la gané, like with my model and everything. This girl was like my best friend. I remember I used to make her laugh. I remember that I even made her, not made, but like her and her best friend kind of like stopped like being best friends, because she was like all in love with me friend wise. Everything was good at home. I was in independent studies and I was even making friends there.
And in that time, she was like creating like this new image. She was like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna
like take over. And I remember that at that time we got introduced to nightclub.
English party cruise.
English party cruise. It was the alley party cruise scene. And I got into a party crew called East LA's Good Life, which consisted of older teenagers from like Montebello and East LA.
So like imagine that, her that young, chilling with like all these older people with cars.
So I knew kids from like Sure, Roosevelt, Garfield, some Montebello, and some went to like Catholic school. I started going to like like the actual like flyer parties. I was this 13-year-old girl already going out. So you can only imagine how my middle school was. I would like come home on Monday with all these stories. I ended up going back to my home school, Stevenson Middle School. And I remember that even the girl that I had gotten into a fight with in like the beginning of the 7th grade year, like she wouldn't even go like that to me. Like, what's up? Like telling me hi. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Everybody wanted to be like around her or her friend.
So 8th grade comes around. I was kind of like sad because my best friend, the one I would go to Belvedere, she ended up moving to like Arcadia or El Monte. And I was kind of sad because our plans was we were supposed to go to middle school together, 8th grade year. But I had more friends at school. We ended up making this little like clique called DNK. It was, oh my God, it sounds so silly. But it was like a group, guys, of like 40 girls, like 40 middle school girls with like the five cool guys. So 8th grade comes along and
5 cool guys.
What? Oh, Eric. I was still from East LA's Good Life on the weekends, and during the week it was like our little thing. And all these kids were like, I was like cool with like everybody, guys. And I'm like over here like getting everyone into my clique, my crew, like where we would hang out. It was like a lot of kids. And I went in with like, según yo, un makeover. Like this red hair, which only the top dyed. These like arched eyebrows like this. And I ended up running and I won for most attractive. I ended up winning for most attractive. I was like, yay! And although I did have like a couple of students that were like, oh, she's ugly, she's nothing but makeup.
Like
but
3.
I had like the support from like all these kids because I was really liked. And also my attitude was really different in middle school. I was much friendlier. And so everything was great. Where I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like with, 8th grade, everything's going perfect. Nothing else more to do here. On the weekends, it was me, my sister, her boyfriend, and my best friend, the one that I told you that moved to El Monte. We were like, wow.
I remember that we used to like bomb.
We were like having like the best time, and I remember we were like, no, because my sister used to throw like a lot of flyer parties. I ended up getting with this boy in my 8th grade. He was also known to be like, según acá, muy cool. He used to live like by the East LA my side. He was also like from like DNK. And he ended up joining a party crew that was kind of like in conjunction with our crew, which was called Aztec Nation. And I was kind of like, wow, like, well, I mean, what more do I want? We're getting towards the end of first semester of 8th grade, and I started having like girls tell me like, I want my eyebrows like that. I want to color my hair like that.
Like everybody wanted to look like her.
I started like plucking people's eyebrows out, and I remember that one towards my ending of my 8th grade year, my two of my best friends and the boy I was with like juntaron money just to get me like all these gifts, guys. I was like, wow, I feel like on top of the world. I had like if I needed like mousse or like a new blouse or anything, I would run, tell my mom, my dad, and my dad would go like in the middle of the night, guy, just to go get me mousse.
You would even go get her Kotex in the middle of the night.
I am like loved. I felt like blessed. Although the relationship between me and my dad was kind of rocky because he didn't really like that. You know, I used to wear a lot of makeup, but I was still like, you know, like his daughter. Like I felt like So we're like in January of my second semester of my 8th grade year, and my best friend ends up backstabbing me and my sister. We used to, it's not right what we would do. It was probably like a good thing. We used to like crank on like people that we knew from like the party scene or talk bad about them. She ended up throwing us under the bus, saying that it was my sister. You know, she's my sister, so if you're doing it to her, you're doing it to me. I guess she kind of, felt or thought in her mind somehow that I guess things were going to keep being cool between me and her. If I would go back, I would have accepted it and told the girl, you know, because the girl that we were supposedly doing it to, you know, she didn't deserve it. She wasn't doing nothing bad. But I kind of felt as if the three of us should have came forward and said,
the three of us are
you know
talking
what,
shit.
we're all
Not
doing it.
only me.
So, I mean, it was petty because, like, you know, we should have better, like, talked about it instead of, like, you know. So we ended up saliendo mal con ella. At that point, I remember, like, since I thought I was, like, overpowering, I told her, like, I want to get in a fight with you. She was like, no, I can't, I don't feel like as if, like, I can't fight you, like, whatever. So for me, I was, like, taking it, like, ha, 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 she's ranking it. At that time, the party scene was friendly. So they were kind of, like, trying for us to, like, talk it out. And I did want to talk it out with her. I was like, oh, like, I miss her.
Well, you know, we were all friends for a long time.
But I remember I was kind of like, all right, we ended up leaving everything, like, whatever. I felt really hurt. I didn't trust a lot of my friends from that moment forward. And guys, like, 2 months after, the boy that I was with ends up cheating on me with one of my friends. Oh my God. Okay, so you know the guy I had brought up, the one that was with in elementary? She was with him. I was with my boyfriend. We all knew each other. He ends up calling me, telling me, oh my God, my girlfriend and your boyfriend are being together. And I'm like, yeah, what? Like, they're not gonna do that to me.
They were like having like the secret affair behind her back.
And like two girls that knew me knew. Oh my goodness. And it was like during like that spring break. When we went back to school, the whole school was like, what? I ended up breaking up with this guy because I caught them on three-way. Her best friend ends up telling me, which I always thanked her, like, thank you, or else I would have probably still, like, not still, but been with him, like, throughout the following years. And I remember we went back to school. They ended up getting together. I guess he always liked her. And the whole school's like, what? He traded her for, like, that?
He traded, like, Maggie.
Because, you know, she wasn't ugly. That's not what we're saying. But, like, the image that I had, you know? I turned bitter, guys. I remember that, like, I had all this support from, like, all these people, guys. People were, like, telling me, like, you want me? Even my best friend con la que había salido mal, she told me, you want me to go beat her up? And I'm like, no.
I remember that she started having, like, trust issues. And it was, like, Maggie, trust issues?
Because I was really confident. I remember, like, I had this girl that we recently, like, started talking again, like, in Instagram and all that. I posted about her a while back. And she was, like, this best friend, and she would tell me, like, you're my best friend, and I was like, yeah, right, because I kind of, like, had, like, the bad impression of a friend because of the girl that, you know, backstabbed me. All these girls, I started kind of, like, being kind of catty with them, like, not trusting them, or, like, kind of, like, giving them, like, the cold shoulder. So, my friends are like, we gotta, like, get you with someone, like, now. And I remember that some of my friends were like, well, we're going to high school already. You're going to be with, like, the cutest guy there. And these two girls told me, like, no, there's this guy. I knew of this guy already because some girl that used to live by my house was already telling me since, like, the ending of 7th grade or beginning 8th, like, there's this guy. He thinks you're pretty. He wants to hook up with you, blah, blah, blah. And I would see him, and I kind of like had a crush on this guy, but I already had a boyfriend, and I was kind of like, just, you know, because that guy.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of when he threw up. All right, go on.
So okay, so you know, and she was like, all right, and I was like, well, I mean, he is better looking than the one that cheated on me, and I mean, if he's, you know, they're saying that he's all in love with me, because they, you know, they would tell me like he tries to like steal your pictures, he asks about you, blah blah blah. So I felt like como J-Lo, like I had all these offers and all these guys, and I was like, all right, well, okay. I felt like the episode of The Simpsons, like I choose you. So I get with this guy, and he's like
really nice,
not mature yet, and I'm like, okay, so he's on love with me según them, but why is he kind of like shy, or is he kind of like, am I scaring him? Like he was kind of like,
he was like a nice little sweet.
He was like kind of like I guess really going through like puberty, I guess. So they would kind of like tell him just to kind of like make the other guy mad, like go hang out with her. So immediately, okay, so me and this guy started, you know, whatever, going out, being together, 8th grade. I didn't think the relationship was gonna last because, you know, I had other plans. Like I was gonna go to Garfield, and I was gonna do this. I had like the weekends. I ended up liking this guy
because he was really sweet. He was really persistent.
But
he's like those type of guys that like girls honestly like you don't get. He would like, he was like really nice, siempre estaba allí, like he would call her.
That's later to the relationship.
But he
like,
was really sweet, that's why you stood with him.
Yeah, you know, and he was like, so we ended up, you know, we were together, and I didn't think I was, like I said, I didn't think I was gonna be with this guy, because like I had like acá, según yo me la creía, but I ended up falling for this guy. So, so all my friends cared about was my image, my reputation. So they're like, come on, go with her, go. So they're like telling them, like, cut your hair different, you know, because we're trying to, they compete with the guy that cheated on me. I remember I started having trust issues immediately. Because there was another girl in the school that, like, I don't know if he liked, but she liked him. And I guess they were already going to hook up. And I guess the moment that they were like, yeah, she said, yeah. He was like, hell no, I'm going to get with her. It's not funny. It's just that, you know, it's funny the way they would say it. I was always like, I don't know. I mean, if this guy that wasn't even that good looking cheated on me, imagine this guy that is good looking. Like, I don't want to be dumb again. So guess what, guys? I cheated on this guy. I remember that song would go on in my mind all day. And I remember I was like, you know what? I'm going to cheat on him before he cheats on me. I don't care. It sounds dumb. It sounds really dumb. I don't care. I'm just going to cheat on him. I ended up cheating on him with this guy that was 19. He was from like Party Cruise. And I felt horrible afterward. I seen this guy on Monday and I was like,
because he was
I felt really bad
nice.
Because I had never cheated on my boyfriends before. And I remember that another girl, we ended up like not talking ever again, was like, oh, you cheated on him? You? And like, listen to how she's telling me, guys, like she knew the real me. Like, and I looked, guys, like, and I put pictures, chola. Like a big chola, hood rat, hoochie, whatever you want to say, ratchet, all the words in the book, thought, hoe is live. They knew the real me, and they were like, Maggie, are you serious? You're gonna like downgrade yourself? I felt dirty. I remember I was like, there he was, and I was like, yeah, right, you're like that. So, the 19-year-old guy and the boy that I was with in middle school, me and my best friend, Sarah, hi, we're walking, and she's with her boyfriend. I'm with my boyfriend from middle school. The 19-year-old guy gets to my house, and my friend's like, hey, isn't that? And she says his name, and I'm like, and I start telling this guy, like, it's my cousin.
He doesn't let me have
boyfriends. And I ended up making him and my best friend hold hands, and her boyfriend was kind of like looking at me because he knew me from elementary. Like, are you serious? You're gonna become like that? Like, for real, Maggie?
Just because she was bitter.
So I remember that the night I was 14, the guy was 19, okay? The 19-year-old guy comes and he's like, is that your boyfriend? And I'm like, no, that's her boyfriend. She's cheating on both of them. And she's using me to cover up. Like, I turned the story around. The guy fell for it, guys. He was like this, según smart. He would go to Bravo, and I remember that he fell for it.
Bravo
for
High School,
me,
like a medical magnet school.
For me, I felt like if I was like on top of the world and I can pull anything up, I was like, they're falling for it. Okay, so like I said, I felt horrible, but I was like, who cares? I'm not gonna let, no one cheat on me ever again. Towards the end of my 8th grade year, this other girl that was known to be like my best friend, her boyfriend started like telling her like, don't hang out with her, she's bad influence, it's either, like her crew or me. She chose the guy over me, so I was like, am I losing it? What's going on? You know what? I said, fuck it. I'm gonna start being mean. Fuck everyone. That's the mentality that I had at that time, guys. Remember, I'm 14. I remember that, like, she told me, like, well, if I end up going to Garfield, I'll hang out with you. If not, I'm gonna go to Roosevelt with him. And I was like, I am not plato de segunda mesa, girl. Either, like, you get your own crowd at Garfield, or you're my friend, or you stay with him. But I'm not gonna be like, you're not gonna be like, putting someone over me or whatever.
Getting like this hardcore mentality, like no one's nadie me va a hacer mensa ever again.
Which is bad because it makes you bitter. So we stopped talking, and I felt bad, and I remember because it wasn't me, So we're getting to high school. High school comes around. I start getting, guys, like, all these offers. This, like, I know it sounds dumb now, but, like, this, like, boy that was, like, this known tagger at Garfield at that time. He was a sophomore. I was a junior.
A lot of seniors.
These 2 seniors that were football players. Not the one that I wanted to hook up with, the one I got bullied not to date, but some other 2 were like, damn, girl, what's up? They would insist, guys. One of them, it showed up in my house one day. He calls me and he's like, go outside. I'm outside of your house. And I'm like, how do you know where I live? He's like, everyone knows where you live. I wouldn't take those comments like in a bad way yet. Like, everyone knows where you live. Like, later on, I'll explain why. I felt famous. So it's me, my sister, her best friend, my other best friend. Her best friend had a car. We were like mean girls, guys. Like going to school in like skirts.
Remember,
little
I was
blouses,
bitter at that time already. And her too.
Eyebrows like this. We have the football team. We're passing by. They're going good live because that's what we would scream on the weekends.
We're like, that's right.
We didn't have to be part of an activity, guys. No cheer, no drill team, no shields, anything. Everyone still knew who we were. I started getting, guys, like how I explained in my bully video, bullied
you guys go down, you guys
in my second period class. It was with this girl that got in a fight with the one that I told you that went to Belvedere, which was dumb. I should have just started talking to this girl because I was fighting a fight that wasn't even mine with someone that like wasn't even worth it anymore because we were not even talking. But since this girl had friends from, because this girl went to Belvedere with my best friend and she ended up getting kicked out to Stevenson with me.
That best friend, the one.
Like what goes around comes around. She was like doing it back at me. Oh, I hated my PE. I remember that I would avoid going. And I had classes with seniors because they messed up mine and my sister's schedule. And I was socializing like with the juniors and the seniors. Everything was great, but not in my second period class. But, whatever. One day, we had voicemails back in that time. We get a harassing voicemail from my ex-best friend, the girl that we were talking bad about, and one of our own crew members. And they're telling us they want to get into a fight, one with her, one with me, and one with my best friend. Mm-hmm. At that moment, I remember I was like, what? Guys, everything from that moment forward changed for us, like in the party scene. They started, guys, bullying us constantly. Why? Because we showed that we were scared. Me, Maggie, I don't know how you guys kids say it nowadays. Back then it was like ranked it. I ranked the fight. I started getting called ranker, ha ha. We started being like the laughing stock of the party scene because here we were thinking we were all bad. And these girls are like, you know, bullying us crazy. We stopped going out. One thing that don't give people the benefit of the doubt. Don't even let people like be in charge of your happiness. We were miserable. We stopped going out to the parties. We avoided them for a really long time. We got out of like the party crew called East Ali's Good Life. There was all these rumors going around saying we had got the boot. We didn't get the boot. There's people that follow us on Instagram nowadays. They could confirm it. Even the girl,
me, my sister, and my ex-boyfriend, we got
and
out.
our best friend, the girl that was gonna get in a fight with my sister that was from our party crew at that time. Good, like you follow us on Instagram, you could confirm it. We did not get the boot. We were scared. So we were like, all right, well, I guess we have like school to look forward to. All right, well, everything's going pretty cool. It's just that, you know, we were kind of like more into like the party scene, you know, but we kept going. We got into this other party crew. I don't know. For me, it was just not the same. There was a couple of girls that were kind of like catty in there.
You know, it was like,
it wasn't that.
the
there
party
was
crew
a
was
girl
just not the same. Like,
that
you
I
know,
had conflict with.
it's like eating regular flaming hot and substituting them for baked flaming hot.
It you know, it just wasn't like the same feeling, but you know, we were just there, just I guess so that we wouldn't like lose like the feeling. My sister was not really herself anymore. So, but we were like still having fun in school. I remember that I felt like famous because we would go to school like if we were going to a party. I started meeting, we stood out guys because of the way that we used to wear our hair and makeup. It was me, so Garfield's going on and people start like, you know, like saying names like, oh my God, like the hoochies, look at them, the bitches, the stuck up bitches, they have brooms stuck up their
hood
ass.
rats.
We liked the attention, we didn't care. We were like, keep it coming, come on, come on, come on. The more you know me, it's gonna benefit me because when I become a senior, I'm gonna be your homecoming queen. That's the mentality I had. So the crowd becomes me, my sister, my best friend, my other best friend, this other girl that the whole school hated as well, this other girl that I told her to come in, and two boys that were gay. So our crowd stood out. I'm still with the same boy that I was with since middle school. This boy is like those boys that like you don't normally get. I don't know if you girls get them, but from what I see, I don't know. I was like, wow, we're really young. He started like showing me he loved and cared. I don't know, it was not love. We were too young. It was probably more like an infatuation. He started showing me like a lot of like love and like caring for me, and to
He
the
would
point
chill with us 24/7.
he was always there. So I just felt as if I had the power. I had like the power and everything. Everything was going great. People used to like look at me like, you're still with him? They used to like see me like up here, guys. Like, wow. Like they were
And
like,
for
I can't
them,
believe
he just wasn't to
like,
her level.
and I remember one of the girls that was his friends were like, you're still with him? Like, I thought you were gonna like dump him as soon as you came to Garfield. Like, these people had like all these high-end hopes, you know, for me. Like, I don't know, they probably thought I was gonna be with I don't know, like the popular cholo, athlete, I don't know. So, we decided to give the party scene another shot. We started going out again, but not like as much. But, you know, we were going out here and then, having fun, socializing, going to ditching parties. My clothes got smaller by the minute. I remember me and my friends used to like flash, guys. We would like flash
like
and like
chichis.
all these like guys would go crazy. I remember we had this guy and he had like this little car, and I remember in this one incident, we drove over to Roosevelt and we ended up flashing the football team and like his car stopped and like the football team was ran like towards the car. We used to do all these crazy things, guys. We stood up. So I'm meeting new people. I met these crowd of girls that I thought were my friends, but they were kind of like give me the cold shoulder. So like you guys know already, I left my home school because I got bullied towards the end of my 9th grade years. That was like the main reason why I left. I felt humiliated, embarrassed. I hated the world. I remember that, scroll down, you guys will listen to like what happened. But when I get beat up towards the end of my 9th grade year and these girls take pictures of me getting beat up, and these girls had plans of like, we were throwing a party called Red, White, and Blue, Don't Fuck With My Crew. And these girls were going to use me getting beat up, throwing a party crew, a party with the same name. And I would like practically beg these girls to like join our party
use
group.
Like that image when she was getting beat up in the flyer, okay?
And which didn't make sense because the girl that beat me up wasn't even from the party crew. I don't know, whatever. I don't even know how they even started talking. But so they were gonna use that. I felt humiliated, like, you know, you guys, that girl threw another girl from that crowd. All these guys ended up bullying me. The one that took pictures of the fight, the one that threw a slushy at my face, the one that beat me up. All these girls turned on me. I felt uncomfortable. I remember I lied and I told my friends that I had gotten kicked out. I left them hanging, guys. I remember that I cried. I didn't know how to come and forward and tell my sister, like, you know what? I'm scared. Nobody ever knew that I was scared. Only my 2 best friends from Garfield, some other girl, and like 4-5 girls that were with me at Garfield and knew the truth. And of course, the girls that would bully me. So once again, I'm getting called Ranker. Maggie got beat up. Maggie. Like since they seen the weakness in me, I was like the laughing stock at Garfield High School, guys. I remember I was like, should I switch track? Because I was B track. Should I probably like just leave these girls? I'm not playing the role of like being innocent, because I also had my part in where I started talking back at them. We would get their voicemails and we started telling them stuff back, which was not good. If I would go back, I would have just gone up to like the girls that I thought were my friends and told them like, are you girls mad? Like, why are we even doing this? Because I remember them too. They would like even come and tell me like, well, it's because you said that and I think the whole school just wants to see us fight. It was like this big old like disaster, guys, which could have been prevented by my end and their end. So I ended up leaving my friends hanging. We had all these plans, guys. I remember that, oh my goodness, I was devastated. We were planning on like joining drill team, going back and forth, going to like intercession at Roosevelt, Wilson. We were planning on like joining softball. We were planning on getting like more girls into our party crew. I remember that there was some girl, but I was not doing nothing positive because all I knew how to do at that time was talk shit back and hide behind my mom. That's all I was doing, letting my friends down. So my little clique at Garfield ended. I was devastated, but hey, I'm Maggie. I mean, I had crew members. They were not really my friends yet, but they were like crew members that were at Roosevelt. I was like, why don't I just go to Roosevelt for about a semester? I know people there. We'll just give this a rest until it all cools off. So I decided to go into A-Track. We had the summer off. During that summer, I started getting all these people against me from like the party scene. Remember, we're still from the party scene. So not only my life became her life. Not only was I getting bullied at school, on the weekends, and things between me and my parents were not going that good because they thought I was bad, especially my dad. I remember that I acted as if I really had gotten into a fight, and I had a boyfriend. I was still with the same boy from 8th grade.
The nice one.
And things were not going good between me and my parents because I used to sneak them into my house. My mom used to catch us. And my dad used to see me with him outside, and he was like, "Mira, métete pa dentro."
Mira, que se llama Margarita Mireya.
I would give him like hickeys. He would give me hickeys. My dad would see. this relationship was already like almost over a year and months. So it's like these relationships, guys, where like you're always with that person. So
They would call them backpack.
things were not, like I said, things were not good at home, at school, on the weekends. So for the first time in my life, I'm depressed. I don't know how to deal with it. On top of all that, my cat runs away, which years later I ended up finding out my mom dumped him somewhere because I wouldn't clean after him. So I thought that the whole world was against me. I was like, what the F is going on? Why is everything not going my way? Everything goes my way. It usually always goes my way. What's going on? I had no social life on the weekends. My friends thought that I was like sprung as in like I was like deeply in love with the person that I was with at that time. So that's why I wouldn't go out. He didn't have a problem with me going out. He was like those boyfriends that like we both like that. You know how many minutes are like that? We would have been like that at the party. It's just that I didn't want to go out. I was scared. So, you know, when you're boring, your friends kind of like are not really there. They're kind of like, well, she's probably just on to her boyfriend. Let me give her space.
Misery is like, oh, the miserable person.
My 3 best friends ended up leaving Garfield with me. One of them left to Roosevelt with me. The other 2 ended up going to Ramona High School. It's in East LA. So the first day of Roosevelt comes around. And you know me, I'll upload a picture of like how I went the first day. I wore like this burgundy spaghetti strap blouse. I got my nails done, my hair more red. So I'm the new girl at Roosevelt, and me over here thinking that, you know, I look nice and I look all cute. But in reality, what's going on is that all these kids start saying, oh my goodness, who's that girl? Why is she coming to school dressed like that? She's such a hoe. My parents would not let me come out of a house like that. So immediately I run home and I tell my mom, like, I need new clothes, Mom. And she looks at me like if I'm crazy because she knew the way that I used to like to dress. So at that moment, I started pleasing other people by like toning down my makeup, wearing like jeans, tennis shoes, laying low, being, you know, somebody that I was not. I started being really bitter. Guys, I started like trying to like lay low, and my life in high school became me and my boyfriend. I feel like the song, like me and my girlfriend. It was me and my boyfriend. I'm not saying he was a problem because I was with him in 9th grade, but I can't even think I started making his life miserable. I was bitter. It was in nutrition and lunch, me and my boyfriend. After school, the boyfriend. In the weekend, the boyfriend. Everyone pretty soon started knowing me as his girlfriend. That's all I was known for, his girlfriend. All I was dedicating my time was like trying to make him jealous, making him mad. I became really annoying, something that I was never. Making him mad, my boyfriend, revolving my whole life around him. That was like the only thing I was doing. So like I said, so I started trying to like, you know, lay low, and I would hang around guys like in the cafeteria, the covered area, because me, I'm obsessed with food, and I had to eat. So it was me, and I had like, you know, for me it wasn't like a lot, but I had probably like 6 friends. For me, I had to have had more. My boyfriend, like I said, my life was just, I would eat, me and my boyfriend. I would go to the bathroom, me and my boyfriend. After school, me and my boyfriend. Getting him mad, that my whole life revolved around him. And I remember that I was like, I mean, why am I making this person's life miserable? Like, I mean, I don't hate him. I mean, I'm with them, you know. I mean, I like, it was teenage, you know, teenage love, whatever. But I just needed like a distraction, guys. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. The closest girl in that crowd ends up getting kicked out, and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? My sister used to drop me off,
and I used to see like these cheer posters that said try out for Roosevelt cheer, and I would tell her, try out.
Like, we're Garfield, guys, and it got to the point where like she even just wanted me to try out to like for like the rival school just so that I can like. She was like, "What's going on?" Because you know I wasn't telling her.
Boyfriend.
Yeah. So I wouldn't go out. I was just there, whatever. Hood rat, hoe, hoochie mama, slut. All these things were, you know, being said about me. Guys, I wasn't even really going out anymore, and I was like, where are they getting these stories from? So it got to the point where I started like toning down the makeup, lips like this, like the ombre look was in that time. Mascara. Guys, I started going to school with overalls and a red blouse. I would wear Tigger sweaters, Tigger backpacks, because I was trying to like, I guess
New
like
image.
be like a new image.
Innocent image.
I was miserable. So the classic comes around and I get this feeling here because I'm sitting in the Roosevelt side, I'm looking over at the Garfield side, and I get so depressed in the inside. And I remember me and my friend are like this and we're looking over and she tells me, "Cutie, we have to go back. I don't know, but we have to go back." And I'm like, "I know." And I say her nickname, Baby Playful. But I'm scared, and she looks over at me like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna tell me the truth, she's gonna tell me the truth." And I tell her, "Well, fuck it, it's better on this side." And like I look over at her and like my eyes get all teary-eyed and I start telling her like, "Oh my God, that could have been us," because we're looking at the drill team perform. And I just try to act like, whatever, nothing hurts me. I went home, I cried. Guys, I used to cry every morning before going to school because I hated it. I couldn't accept what was going on. I remember I was like, what happened to that Maggie that had all these plans? What's going on? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I miserable? So, second semester of 10th grade comes around. That relationship between me and the boy end. I'm going, well, although we ended up in bad terms because he caught me cheating, but it's probably for the best. Not that he caught me cheating, but like for me on my end, like probably I could start socializing, give Roosevelt a shot. Anyways, you know, I'll probably be here just for another semester. So I started trying to like get involved and start hanging out, being social. But there's always like that hood rat. Your boyfriend, this, blah. Your boyfriend said that, la la la.
He started like talking a bunch of shit about her.
I mean,
So it
I
made
guess
it worse.
he was like, I guess, because he caught me cheating, so it was like revenge. But I didn't care. I was like, whatever. So I'm done with 10th grade. The summer before I become an 11th grader, me and my crowd of the usual friends that I would hang out with, we stopped talking. So I kind of like just stay like with a crowd of like 3 girls. I end up getting a job at a fast food place the summer before I become an 11th grader. My attitude changed like completely. I start dressing totally different. I started acting very, very different. I don't socialize with like local kids anymore. I colored my hair brown. I became something, guys, that I wasn't. So in my mentality, I become like a no one. I go into 11th grade around maybe like 3 weeks after the semester starts. I end up convincing 2 of my friends to go with me. They hate the environment every single day. So like I said, my friends constantly start telling me like, "Girl, we have to start going back. What's wrong with you?" I come to the point, guys, where I just kind of like start accepting what everyone around me like says. Well, alright, I guess I'm a hood rat because like the way I look, the way I dress. So I start dressing different. I color my hair brown. I start changing. My wardrobe is totally different. I become like invisible, like a no one. I don't go to like any like local parties anymore, any football games. I come to the point where like I'm kind of like saying I'm just gonna drop out of high school and I'll just go to ELAC and I'll get my GED, something that I had never ever thought about. I'm like totally different, but a positive comes around. I start being closer to my parents. I started being closer to my dad again. One day, I remember my mom told me, like, I need you to be that happy Maggie again. What's making you sad? Like, they thought that, like, they didn't know what was going on with me. They were like, she's not the same. What's going on with her? You know, because they knew, like, how I was. And my mom's like, you know, like, you kind of have to, like, be yourself again. She hated the new boyfriend that I was with. We had a bad relationship, but me and my dad started being closer. The girl, the one that went to West Covina, the school, she starts telling me, like, girl, we gotta get back up there. We gotta get back at Garfield. I talked to all the varsity cheerleaders. Let's go back. What are we doing here? We don't belong here. And I got her point. I was like, well, yeah, what are we even doing here? But I just felt like nobody would, like, nobody had, like, beat me up. And I had gone through the whole year without getting to, like, you know, something physical. And Garfield, like, oh my goodness, look at. I just felt comfortable. I had became like a no one, like invisible, an ordinary, something I was not. So we're getting to, I end up like not even, I get sick because I get my tongue pierced, and which is better for me. I end up just like dropping out my first semester towards the end of my 11th grade year. I don't go back. And I remember that that girl, she's like telling me, like, let's leave. We're all going back. Me, and she tells me the other two girls. And I'm like, second semester, 11th grade comes around. And two of my best friends end up going back to Garfield. And they're telling me for us to go back. And I'm like, I'm not ready. And they're like, well, you know, oh, well, that's on you. They end up going back. We don't talk anymore. I end up getting more depressed. And time after that, one of my friends, which lives around my house, comes over to my house, and she's like, Maggie, what's going on with you? This just isn't you anymore. You know, you colored your hair brown. You're not going out. You're not socializing. And I break down and I start crying, and I start telling her, like, everyone hates me. No one wants to talk to me anymore. She looks over at me and she's like, Maggie, like, come on, like, are you serious? Like, this isn't you. Stop pleasing people. Go back, you know, to being you. Go back to your home school, which is Garfield, and be yourself again. Whatever happened to, like, that Maggie, that really happy, jolly Maggie that I once knew, everyone is still talking about you, and you don't even socialize anymore. So that means, Maggie, you are a big deal. Do not break down. Do not let people, you know, don't please people, because everyone, they just want to see you low. I get introduced to Spanish nightclubs my second semester of 11th grade.
And that's
I was embarrassed. Yeah. That's when I met, like, the people that are still my friends. I met the boy that I uploaded, Luis. And I met my, you know, Noelia and all these people, and they
were all like the positive people.
So I started meeting like all these positive people, and I remember that, like, so that girl took me to the nightclub, and we started meeting all these new kids around, like, from Culver City, Bell, Southgate, Compton, Pico Rivera, those kids from Santana, Anaheim. And at first, you know, we're not really into like what's in, but we kind of start going back to being us. I color my hair blonde. We start having like friends, like, do my makeup. I want to look like you. I want to have my hair like you. We're getting like that positive feedback. My boyfriend at that time's like, girl, you look fine. You and your sister are fine. Come out. Everyone around me is being really positive. No more like, we have a bad rep, you're a hood rat. Everything, all of those comments were coming
like positive. Like, you look nice. I love your hair color. Your makeup's nice.
So, for once in my life, I get the guts finally, and I go back to. So I finally end up going back, guys. And I remember that I end up joining cheer, And a couple of people that I knew from middle school were there, and they were also trying out for cheer. And I had one girl come up to me and she's like, oh my God, Maggie, where have you been at? She tries helping me out so I can make it to the cheer squad. I have other girls asking me like, where have I been? And immediately I remember that I started telling myself like, why did I ever leave? Because, you know, guys, I kind of had like a negative mentality of like the whole school. I thought that everyone was against me when like they weren't. And it was just like those certain people that were, you know, trying to hurt me physically and mentally. So immediately I go back and these people start like asking me like, oh my God, where have you been at? So I remember that I had gotten a little thicker in weight. I colored my hair blonde and I started wearing a lot of makeup again, and I started standing out, and immediately I start, you know, causing attention, and all these kids at school are like, oh my goodness, who's the new girl? She's pretty. A lot of guys start asking about me. For once in my life, in a very long time, I start having like positive vibes again. I know that there was a couple of people that were kind of catty against me, but for once in my life, guys, I didn't care and I did not need a crowd. I was there meeting new people. And although at times I was kind of negative, ignoring like certain people, I remember that a lot of people that I knew from middle school, some of them were kind of like, hey Maggie, how have you been? If you say hi, I'll say hi. And although I was kind of like saying like, oh, I kind of like want to like lay low as much as I can, I tried my best, guys, to kind of like start trying to get involved. So like I'm trying to like, I'm getting involved, but at the same time I'm kind of like laying back, getting involved, staying in the back. I stood out a lot, I guess, because like, you know, again, the makeup. And the coach, Miss Velasquez, starts telling like the cheer squad, girls, wear your makeup like Maggie. She puts glitter on. She gets her hair all curled. She wears red lips, blah, blah, blah. She looks like the girls from Bring It On. So I'm hearing these comments. I meet this girl, which I ended up we end up getting like a senior page together. All these girls are positive, like, you know, like if I'm pretty, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm back and I'm being me. First semester comes and goes, you know, I'm a cheerleader, I'm socializing. Second semester is even the best. I remember I thought to myself and I said, why did I ever leave? I should have just switched tracks, or I should have probably just like left for a semester and went back. I'm feeling, guys, like the best ever. I'm like, I'm this new girl. I have all these friends again. I'm socializing and I'm going, oh my God, why did I leave? When I left high school, so my second semester of senior year is like going perfect, and I asked like these like couple of seniors like, so what do people say about me? And they're like, well, they just talk shit, like that you're a hood rat, but who cares? They're stupid. I started getting like all these positive things, like people saying like, well, how do they even know you're like that? Why do they even talk about you? Oh my God, girl, you're new and all these people know who you are. So it's all these positive vibes. I remember I had like the best senior and 9th grade year. Why, guys? Because I was myself. I told myself towards the end of my senior year, and I promised myself that I would never, ever, ever let anyone interfere with my happiness ever again. My pursuit of my happiness was for me, at the end of my 9th grade year, for me to go back to my home school, be myself, be happy, love yourself. Who cares what people say? If people are saying stuff about you, it doesn't matter. I let people interfere with my happiness, which for me, 10th and 11th grade year went down the drain. I was being someone that I wasn't. I should have kept being me. That's just the way things are. Accept who you are. That's who I should have been. Hey, I'm hair, makeup. Either you accept me as I am or see me as I go, like all those memes that go around. Once all those people that were telling me like, you should be normal, we have a better rep, you should dress different, you're a bad influence. Once all those people exited out of my life, I was really happy. And I was like, wow, all it took was just courage, dedication. I should have just, stood at my home school and stood up for myself in a positive way. So guys, the point of this video was so that you guys can love yourselves.
No matter what you're going through, remember, always pursue happiness, because happiness is out there.
And don't let anyone interfere with your happiness, guys. All right, guys, so just go ahead, comment below, and let us know your experiences. We're here. All right, guys, bye.